The Roses is a good movie, but I would rather prefer to watch it on a flight inside an aeroplane rather than going to the theaters and giving my attention and money to it there. The movie The Roses, which is based on the 1981 novel called The War of the Roses by Warren Adler and a remake of the 1989 film by the same name, is a satirical black comedy directed by Jay Roach from a screenplay by Tony McNamara. The Roses stars Benedict Cumberbatch of the Sherlock Holmes fame, playing the role of Theo Rose, who is the husband of Ivy Rose, played by what I understand a very celebrated, gifted, and awarded British actress Olivia Colman. Historically, the Wars of the Roses were a series of English civil wars fought between the houses of Lancaster and York from 1455 to 1487 for control of the English throne. The name comes from the supposed badges of the two rival houses, the White Rose of York and the Red Rose of Lancaster. The war in our case, of course, is the proverbial war between a husband and a wife. I must confess, I've never read the novel War of the Roses by Warren Adler, but I did watch the 1989 movie based on the novel with the same name as a young adult, so it was natural for me to compare the two movies. I felt that the 1989 version of the movie, starring some masterclass actors of those times, namely Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito no less, was a much wilder version and evoked more laughs and gasps and shock and awe than the 2025 version called The Roses, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. While the 1989 War of the Roses was more American and by corollary more wild in its action, the 2025 version is more British, with sarcasm and humour through long winded dialogues spoken in a British accent, although in an American setting in California in a house set by the beachside. And if you love the British stiff upper lip humour, you would certainly enjoy the movie with dialogues containing words like begrudge or I've left enough pauses in my sentence so that you can insert a sorry or a thank you and that sort of British thing, which is quite enjoyable overall. The flirtations are spoken in dialogues like lovemaking is just minutes away. I wonder if the Roses politely ask each other in bed, I'm sorry, can I come? You get the idea. So Theo is a thriving architect who goes down, and Ivy, his wife, is a struggling chef who shoots to fame on the same day, ironically due to the same set of circumstances. Theo starts taking care of the house and the children, and Ivy becomes a thriving professional, and this takes a toll on their family lives, which consists of two young school-going children as well. As their relationship worsens, there's a waxing and waning of emotions, banter with words, and finally some real violence, which looks rather funny when you compare it to the 1989 movie, and then just as suddenly everything blows up out of proportion. You will have to watch the movie to get what I'm saying. The acting by Benedict Cumberbatch playing Theo and Olivia Colman playing Ivy is top notch and very British, which you enjoy and admire. I, however, felt that Ivy looks more like a mother than a wife of Theo, and that sort of bothered me a little bit throughout the movie. Probably a younger cast should have been picked up for the role of Ivy. Maybe the director wanted a war of words more than the war of roses, and that is why Olivia Colman was chosen for the role, because I can't think of anybody else who could have delivered those dialogues and corresponding facial expressions like she herself has done impeccably. The dinner table scene along with the guests is simply nailed by Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman as they go commando on each other with razor sharp wit and sarcasm, leaving both the guests and the audience in the theatre with oohs and ahs and ouches and bursts of laughter and back again to whoops. The scene where Ivy is wielding a gun and Theo is throwing oranges at her is both gripping and hilarious at the same time. Of course, the movie is set in the modern times, so an adequate use of social media and deepfake AI gets a mention in the movie, unlike its 1989 counterpart. Overall, the director does create some hilarious scenes to remember. The supporting cast of Andy Samberg of the Jake Peralta of Brooklyn Nine-Nine fame playing Barry and Kate McKinnon playing Barry's wife Amy along with the others keep the wicked humor tempo up. But all we really need is to simply sit back, relax, and watch the dialogue exchange in British English between Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman playing the role of Theo and Ivy respectively and enjoy. In the end, of course, the movie has a subtle message, as did the 1989 version. It is better to shed the egos and love each other as a couple, otherwise, it leads to a lot of self destruction and damage which has no end to it. Love, on the other hand, can prove a bliss for the family. Something we all know, but still end up with the divorce attorneys negotiating sitting on the opposite sides of the table. I must say, the 1989 movie wins for me. You can watch the 2025 version called The Roses on OTT, your smartphones, or as I would rather prefer, on an airplane, sipping red wine and having a slice of cheese. Ah, come now.